Alright, so for the next lab series, the previous one we did just small animation to try and get an idea of just the interface sort of and just drawing in there. This next one we're going to do is make an interactive comic. Okay, so this is a great, obviously I'm just doing this, we're going to make it for entertainment purposes, but you'll see these used in especially for educational things. They'll kind of describe things. Look at all the, especially now in COVID times, my kids are doing all these online learning programs and stuff, and this is basically what they are, is that they click through and they usually have to answer a question or something, and then they kind of go from there. So that's what we're going to kind of do here, sort of. So anyway, this is kind of what we're going to make. It's going to be relatively simple, but so we have our little dude here. If I hold over him, he reaches out, right? If you click on him, you'll see that the cars avoid him. Nobody loves him, though. I really feel this. So then you click on next, and then it goes to the next slide, and you can see he's crying. You know, if you hover over it, he does a tear. If you click, he wipes his tear. Okay, so this is the story of my life. And then, oh no, there's a baby in the middle of the road. I don't know where the parents are, but, you know, maybe they're trying to keep 6 feet distance. But if you click on the baby, you can see he gets in front of the baby, and finally his repulsiveness has a purpose. So that's kind of what we're going to make. But I'm going to do this in 2 parts. So what we're going to do in this first part is just make the background. So in here I made them right inside of animate. Instead what I'm going to do is just go ahead and make them in Photoshop. Sound like Obama. Like with the pausing. So anyway, I'm going to make these Photoshop and put them in here. That way they'll be more different. Also you'll see how to just import assets. When you go to make your own eventually, and there's 3 weeks of this, and then the 4th week you make your own, you can even do the characters in Photoshop or Illustrator. I had students use Illustrator a lot. You can make them in whatever you want. I'm going to do it in Photoshop because you guys should have all taken that anyway, so it should be readily understandable for you. But what that will do is it'll make more contrast between the character and the backgrounds. You know, typically when you watch your Saturday morning cartoons, the backgrounds are all done in Photoshop, and then the foreground elements are done whatever the animation program is. So like Animate or like Toon Boom, Harmony, or something like that. But so anyway, we're going to do the backgrounds in Photoshop, and that way it will look a little bit more interesting. It'll have more contrast between it. It'll create sort of aerial perspective. So if you remember aerial perspective, so linear perspective is basically dealing with objects and how they're viewed. So usually you think of like 1 point perspective and everything goes to a vanishing point. There's for shortening, objects will be on top of each other, right? That's all linear perspective, and it just deals with the shapes and their positioning and their scaling. Air perspective deals more with like color and saturation and that sort of stuff. By doing the backgrounds painterly, it'll help them recede because they'll actually have less contrast than the character will, because the character will do lines and flat colors, and so they'll read quicker and they'll be more in front of the background. Anyway, this is what I made before. It's going to look a little bit different. I might change it up a little bit, but we're going to do these backgrounds first. So, yeah, so that's what we're going to do next. All right, so I'm going to end this video, and then next video we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to have Photoshop open, and we're going to start, banging this out.